Hello and welcome to Skeindeer Knits. My name is Ellie and I am a Norwegian living and knitting in London. And you can find me on Instagram as Skeindeer and I am Skeindeer Knits as a designer on Ravelry. And Skeindeer Knits is also the name of my Ravelry group, so you can totally go and check that out. If you want to take part in the community and get in touch and take part in knit-alongs, all that stuff is just kind of the hub of Skeindeer Knits. So hello! And welcome to new viewers. This is where I have traditionally made a weekly kind of episode just talking about knitting, what I've made, what I've designed, what I've bought, whatever, you know, which is a little bit on a hiatus right now just because I am finishing up a PhD. So I try to pop in every so often to say hi to you guys. And yeah, so to returning viewers, hi. Hi to everyone, welcome and welcome back. Yeah, wow, it's been a while since last time. How are you guys holding up? Everything fine? I just thought I'd do like an impromptu episode or something, just because I'm sure lots of people are now just maybe sat at home and not doing much with the whole situation. So I thought I'd give you guys something to some entertainment. I don't know. So I have a little bit of knitting to talk about. That's pretty much most of this episode. I've got very few acquisitions and I'm trying to kind of hold back on the knit-alongs right now, and that's pretty much the only thing I want to say about knit-alongs actually, because last time I promised I would announce the prizes and winners for the Cyber Mitten Club. However, given the whole situation happening in the world right now, I don't know that I can make a promise as to when I can, you know, post things. You know, I don't know what anything's going to be like just one day from now, a week from now, you know. So I think when I know that, you know, things will be running at all and I can go to the post office and things like that, which right now I can, but you never know. I think it's just safest to just hold off a little bit for the time being. I hope that's understandable, just given everything's up in the air right now. So I promise I will announce it in a upcoming episode, and I will always be clear about whether I will do it or not in the beginning of the episode. So that's all I have to say about that. The only knit-along that we are running right now is the Skeindeer Knits Garment KAL of 2020, which means it's just a knit-along where all of my garment designs are eligible. All the sweaters, all the cardigans, the one skirt pattern, all of those. So that's happening. It's a lot of activity in my Ravelry group. I'm kind of trying to like moderate my activity and presence in the group just because I don't want to spend the time that I should be spending on writing my thesis in that group, even though it's so tempting to just be there and, you know. But I couldn't. One day I slipped up and I just clicked. It was automatic. I don't know what possessed me. I just clicked and I scrolled and I was like, oh. Your guys' projects are amazing. And all the photos I'm seeing in this group, I mean, they're amazing. Please post them there if you can. And tag me on Instagram if you're knitting on them and if you have finished them. And I love seeing them, honestly. It's my favourite thing about designing, and I keep saying that it's my favourite thing, to see people knit my designs and see the choices that you made and modifications, moderation, what am I trying to say? Changes that you've made, adaptations to yourself. I think that's great. You like some people who design, not most of them, but some who are like quite touchy about modifications. I'm not. I think whatever like solutions you find to a design that is going to suit your taste and your body and all those things better, go for it. I'd love to see it. I think that's really exciting. I'm all for adaptations and, you know, altering something to suit you. Yeah. Anyway, and if you're following the pattern through and through, that's fine too. I'm really excited to see and that knit-along is happening. So for anyone who's sat at home being bored out of their brains right now, that's a thing you can do, I guess. Oh, you can just watch this. I mean, there is content. Let me just tell you, there is knitting content. I didn't think there would be. I wrote my show notes and I was like, this is going to be a short one. But there's a little bit here and there. I'm more monogamous in my projects now than I was when I was doing perhaps a bit more knitting than I should have allocated time for, but still I have picked up a couple of projects just to do a little bit, and that's just enough to justify talking about them. So let's just get right into that. But actually, I have a new pattern. This is not something I thought would happen anytime soon. It really wasn't in the works at all, like at all. But I have a new pattern and I don't know how that happened. I just knitted it and finished it and it's ready. That was quick. And the story behind it, I'm going to show you in a bit, but the story is basically that, you know, me being super busy, distracted with the whole situation, the thesis, all that stuff, which is going to take a bit longer than anticipated now, but what else is new? I needed to knit on something simple and quick and gratifying, and I just also realised it's going to be a long while till I can put anything up in my pattern store. And maybe I can combine these two. Maybe someone else out there is in need of something that is quick and simple and rewarding, but still very much a Skeindeer Knits style item, let me tell you. So I did that. I bought the yarn at Unravel, you may know what I'm talking about now, and cast on very quickly and watched it grow very quickly. I knitted on it a lot on the train up and down to Chester, and just finished it yesterday. It's done. I wove in the ends, it dried overnight. I mean, it dried immediately. It's so light and just dries very quickly. So I'm very, very happy to show you right now. It's the debut. I haven't shown anyone yet at the time of recording this. It's very exciting. Ta-da! Wow, you can't see anything. And I am not wearing... I'm like wearing tights. I can't get up to show you either. That would be very... We don't need to see that. By the way, Snag Tights have got these like woolen tights, and I'm just like, oh my god, wool tights, wool tights. Anyway, you didn't come here to hear about my tights. This is the shawl. It's a shawl with frills. I do have a pattern with frills on before, but my version of the shawl did not have frills. Fringe, I guess fringe is a better word, isn't it? I didn't do that on my version, but it is a version in the pattern, and some people have done that. But this one has it in the actual sample. And you know what? I thought it was going to drive me loopy to tie on all these little fringes, but I did it all in one go, and it was really gratifying. I didn't want to stop. I was just really enjoying it. So there's that. I am absolutely loving the shape. I'm sure probably some people looking at it and going, is that loosening? Kind of makes me think of loosening. Yes, I can. I mean, I was sort of going in that direction, but it's actually very different from loosening, which I think is very exciting. Loosening is worked traditionally as a Faroese shawl, bottom up. You cast on all stitches, and you work 2 kind of wing panels and a mid panel, and you have some edges, and you work that bottom up. And after the lace, you sort of take in a lot of stitches so that it will curve kind of around your shoulders, kind of like a little bit like you do in a yoke actually, but it's flat. I didn't do that here, so the shaping here is a lot easier. Not only that, but you start with a garter tab cast on here and work top down. And that's where the gratification starts, because it grows so quickly to begin with. But even at the end, it's still such a loose fabric with big needles that you're just gonna keep watching it grow. I actually didn't even think it was going to be that big when I was about to bind off, but it absolutely is, and I love it. So the shaping here is a lot more consistent than the shaping of loosening. Loosening you'd have to pay a little bit of attention to, which is like, people have enjoyed it. It's one of my most knitted patterns, but this one is simpler. I'm not going to exactly say, but there's like a rhythm to it. Like, it's like a 10-row increase pattern, sort of. It goes, you're repeating every 10 rows, if that makes sense. And the final eyelets kind of fit into that rhythm as well. I was so sure I had miscalculated the yarn, and I thought it was going to be so small. Actually, once I was done, I had just a little bit more than enough to do the fringes, the frills, the things. So that all worked out super well. I still had enough leftovers to confidently say that this you can make with 2 skeins of Snalden 2-ply, or, you know, equivalent meterage of other yarns like Fionul, Loft, probably maybe even Holst. I don't know. It's a very loose gauge, so it definitely works well on sport 2 fingering weight yarns. I'm absolutely loving this shape. So it's kind of made to look like a Faroese shape, but it's a lot simpler and memorizable, and there's very, very little thinking involved, which is exactly what I needed with this. It weighs just under 200 grams. It's so light and it's massive. I'm gonna actually put it on now so you can see how you would wear it. I like to wear my shawls like this. So they're just Shouldn't have wore black today, should I? Yeah, hopefully I can insert some photos so you can get a sense of the entirety. I'm very pleased with the wingspan. You know, you could see just how it just fits around the neck. Like, you don't feel like the wings are kind of coming around just here, like they're properly hanging down so that it's going to stay on, which is my favorite thing about these very woolen shawls, that they stay on and they kind of have a bit of body to them. So I'm just going to put it on again because yeah, they just have that body to them. So even though they're quite light, you know, it's not like the wind just grabs it and it comes off. It just has a lot of hold to it. And I think in order to get this effect, you'd probably have to knit with like a, I don't know, worsted weight superwash yarn or something like that. But with fingering weight pure wool non-superwash, is actually, it does the job for you. So I'm a big fan of these very woolly shawls. And I don't know, it's like a big misconception that all non-superwash woolly shawls are itchy, which is not at all true. They come in all ranges of itchiness, and I think Snelden is pretty nice that way. I'd argue that Loft is softer, but then I've heard other people actually feel that my other shawl in Snelden is softer than my Loft shawl, which I don't understand, but they did think that. So maybe it's on par, I don't know. But if you're like really fussy, you know, lamb's wool yarn would do the trick. Vilja or Sol or something like that. There's a lot of soft woolly wool shawls, and yeah, don't underestimate what you can wear. I think this is just lovely, but I just would suggest not using alpaca. That's my main thing. If you want to use other yarns, then recommended. Really, this is not like you can pretty much do anything, but I've not heard people had a lot of success with alpaca yarns with this loose gauge. It's going to get very, very drapey and shapeless, and you need something with a little bit of hold to it. So that's kind of my main recommendation, but there's a lot of yarns to choose from here as a broad selection. I'm going to recommend several in the pattern. Yeah, it sits really well over the shoulders as well. And yes, I am wearing my Knitting is Metal t-shirt today. It says knitting if you can't tell. I just love this kind of stuff. You already know that I'm kind of nuts after these things. So yeah, sits really well over the shoulders. I've still got a lot of, you know, wingspan, and it's kind of nice to just kind of warm yourself. You know, it's kind of an all every season kind of shawl as well. This is definitely going to be like a proper winter scarf for me, but I'd probably wear it all the time, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to wear this relentlessly, and I'm so pleased with the fringe. I am just really pleased with it. I thought maybe I'd also talk about how I actually did it, because all it says in the pattern is to have 2 strands of about 25 centimeter yarn. If you're running out, you could go down to 20. It doesn't have to be that long, but I thought I'd give you some leeway. So 2 strands, and then you tie them on according to this Very Pink Knits tutorial that I linked to in the pattern. Very simple, so that means you get 4 strands per knot essentially, because the 2 strands will be kind of facing in that knot. It all makes sense. But how many strands are you going to have to cut and measure? Right, how many are gonna... So I actually found a very efficient way of doing this. My first thought was to just find a book that measured 20 to 25 centimeters tall, and I thought, yeah, and I'll just wind it around the book, and then I'll cut it above and at the bottom, and then that will give me several strands of 20 centimeters. That's about 8 inches length, and I'll take 2 at each time and just make the knots. That would totally work. But if you have this particular equipment, you can also use that, but a book will do just fine, and my testers have done that and it's worked out really well. But I thought I'd show you what I did. I've got this Niddy Noddy. This is a Niddy Noddy. This is one from, oh, who made this? Kromsky. So Kromsky Niddy Noddy. This is to make a mini skein. So what you do is that you take the yarn, you wind around, but you can look up Niddy Noddy use tutorials. And what I found is actually I would have 4 lengths of about more than kind of maybe 27 centimeters, a little bit more than I needed. The pattern recommends, I think, yeah, 25 centimeters, that's about 10 inches. But I'm saying you can go down to 8 inches, but it's in the pattern. But you can totally use a Niddy Noddy and then just tie around the yarn here, 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 and here, and then you'll have 4 sets of 20 something centimeter strands, and that will just make it really easy. Just cut every place you have tied a yarn around it, and that made it so efficient, so much more efficient than having to measure out every time. So I can definitely recommend that. Just a pro tip. Yeah, so that's a new pattern. I will put a discount code below for early bird buyers who just want to support me in getting my pattern out, trending on Ravelry up front. No pressure if you can't do that, obviously. We are in very particular times. But so at the time of recording, I thought I'd name it the Bunad shawl because it is a classic Bunad shawl. I don't know if people here all know about a Bunad, what that is. I thought I'd give just a very quick description. So Bunad is basically a full costume from Norway. Full costume makes it sound a little bit like a costume. It's not a costume, it's a national kind of outfit. It's something you will wear on very particular occasions, and it will usually have ties to where you or your family hails from in Norway. So I, for instance, have my granddad from Gudbrandsdalen. He's particularly from Dombås, so that means I can wear the Dombås bunad and also some of the other Gudbrandsdal bunads, and they're really nice. They're usually black with like this white blouse underneath and a lot of colourful embroidery on the black part of the dress. Everyone's trying to find if they have ties from Telemark because they have the best bunad. It's really gorgeous. And they make bunads for both men and women, but you will actually more often see the kind of women's version, which I think is a shame because the men's bunads are, they look good, let's just say that. But the women's bunads will often come with a knitted shawl that you wear with it, because you're wearing this very thin blouse under a woolen dress. So it's quite likely your arms are gonna get cold. So having that kind of shawl draped around you is, you know, tradition. And yeah, that's basically kind of like, that's kind of what I was going for with that shawl. It looks like kind of classic bunad shawl. So that's that. Having said that, like I keep talking about like tradition and traditional, a lot of the times what we think of as traditional is like recreations of traditional. Like bunads were mostly like people came up with them in mid to late 1800s and early 1900s, and actually as old as we think they are, but they are sort of representations of something older and traditional and something like that. So it's like a lot of the times they are more representing an idea than a reality of the past, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Just the stuff that I get geeky about. So yeah. Whoa, Nitty Noddy needs to go away. I can go in there. And a new pattern. I am so pleased with this. This is exactly what my wardrobe needed right now. Oh, now I need to make 3 extra in different colours. So anyway, thin yarn, big needles. I think I used a 6mm, which is a lot. So anyway, we have a lot of other things to get through. So if anyone's looking for a simple quick knit, very gratifying, wearable, yeah, then there's the Bunad shawl. Anyway, I have other things to talk about. Goodness me. And apparently I'm on cleaning duty today, so I need to wrap this up quickly. Sorry if you can hear the vacuum cleaners going outside. We're having an inspection. Yes. I have been cranking on with the Emblas mammajakke. I don't actually remember how far I came last time, but I do have one finished sleeve. It's really nice, and just, I don't think I had a finished sleeve last time. I don't think I did. I am starting to get into the habit of knitting my sleeves in a bigger knitting needle size than I do the body. I find my sleeves become very tight. I don't know if that says more about my arms than about my gauge, but I actually think it is the gauge. I think I knit tighter on small circumferences. I don't know that I actually knit tighter. I think it's something to do with the small circumference that pulls the knitting together because it is a small circumference. So I'm just trying to counteract that by using bigger needles, and that has made these sleeves very nice and spacious and suitable to wear over other garments that I'd be wearing. Very happy about that. I don't think I made the sleeves as long as the pattern says. Apparently it's supposed to be a bit extra long, and it's not something I was going for, so the cuffs are a little bit shorter, which is good because I'm a little bit unsure of whether I have enough of this dark blue. It's a bit risky, but yeah, so I have come very far on the second sleeve. I really only have the colour work and rib cuff left. That's the only thing, and that's why I haven't done it, because that sounds like effort and we don't do that. I don't think I didn't in the previous sleeve, and I don't think I will here, obviously, because I want them to match. Go down on needles, go up a needle size for the color work for the wrist, because at this point I'm actually done decreasing for the sleeve. So I figured instead of just going up a needle size to maintain the same gauge for these two, I continue with the same needle size so that it will pull in a little bit further. I guess that could be like part of the decrease, if you will, and then the rib does the rest, and it came out looking really good. So I'm happy with that decision. And there is that. Oh, I'm not going to be done until the weather gets warmer, am I? I really want to wear this. I just really do. It's so pretty, and I didn't even know I wanted a pelt wool cardigan this much, but now I want everything in pelt wool. I want to do a shawl in pelt wool. Oh my days, you could do that shawl in pelt wool. That would be amazing. Maybe I should do that. They do sell that up in Knit with Attitude, which is one of my local yarn shops. That's where I got this yarn, and that's an idea. That's an idea. I'm not going to spoil the prices for the Cyber Knitting Club, but maybe there'll be some pelt wool in there. Maybe. Another pattern / project that I have worked a tiny bit on is a very new pattern. This is the Calibrate sweater, which Alex of Spindles and Stitches just published, which is a very interesting raglan sweater. It may look like just any other raglan, but what you do is put in your measurements into this kind of self-calculating spreadsheet. Put in your measurements for your bust, upper bust, waist, upper arm, mid arm, all those things. Put in your measurements, and it will give you these numbers, and the pattern will tell you where in the pattern to write down these numbers. So it will be completely tailored to your measurements, which is amazing. So what I did, just because I got curious, was give this a soak and dry. So I just left it in water, squeezed out the water after half an hour, and left it to dry flat. And just to see how the neckline would open up, how it would fit, and how the bust darts would look once it's blocked, because they tend to poke out a bit, but they seem to look really well and it's gonna fit, and I'm happy with it. So I just need to crank on with the body, which I've done a good portion of. I did knit that a little bit before I gave it the soak, and sleeves are usually quite quick with me, though, except when they're not. So that's basically the progress here. I will say though, this yarn, this is PT5, which is a sport yarn from Norway, which is weird because we don't use yarn weights, but we have sport, and this is PT5 sport. And this was my first ever burgundy love. The first time I saw this colorway in this yarn, I fell in love with burgundy, and I never looked back since. However, I don't love the yarn. You know that like different kinds of superwash treatments, they just have different feels. A lot of them feel quite lush and squishy, and then some feel more plasticky, and this is regrettably one of the latter. Also possibly because it's got considerable nylon content, because this is also a sock yarn, and I'm just not sure. It just feels a little bit, it doesn't feel like wool. I think it will have a really good place in my wardrobe, simply because I need less warm sweaters, and if they're handmade and less warm than my woolly jumpers, I might wear them in the occasions where I can't wear my woolly jumpers. So that's pretty good. So it's gonna have a purpose, but I will say probably won't be making more garments in this yarn, just because the feel is a little bit... Have I become that fussy? I used to love this kind of stuff, and now I'm just like, oh, it's just, I need something more natural. I just need natural yarn. So sorry I've become this person, but I can't lie. So it is nice, and it's very affordable and suitable for your sort of average 22 stitch gauge sweater. So I'm happy with the choice of the yarn for this sweater. I will say that it is working out really well. I'm just kind of like, for future notice, I might just stick with my woolly wools. And if I'm gonna go the superwash path, I might be a bit fussy with how soft they are, because it's a little bit, yeah, just a bit plasticky basically. But yeah, check out the pattern. It's out on Ravelry now. You can adapt it to your measurements. I wonder if she's got like a pay what works system as well. Don't quote me on that. I feel like we talked about that. And yeah, so she had so many test knitters. It's absolutely wild. So that's, you can just check out all this samples, like project pages on Ravelry. There's a lot of stuff to go through there. So calibrate, it's on the needles. I hope I will have it finished soon. That will be nice, given I said I was gonna kind of sort of test knit it. I did say I wasn't gonna be likely to finish, but you know, asked for some friend perks / Skeindeer perks. They do that sometimes, but then it gives me an excuse to talk about it on the podcast, which was my main objective. Looks like I really do have enough content to bulk up this episode. That's amazing. So I picked up this other project yesterday. I don't know what hit me. It's something about the bag that it's in, to be honest. It's a gorgeous bag. How could you not want to pick up something that's in this bag? I actually forgot who made it. Let's Butternut Handmade UK. I knew that. So if you got a bag like this, you're gonna want to knit what's inside, I'm telling you. So I thought let's just knit on this. I was gonna say oldie but goodie, but it's not very old. I think I started it in December. It's a design that is gonna come in a long while. I'm not aiming for anything to come out anytime soon. I was really gonna have a bit of a hiatus until this shawl just happened. But this one is definitely not something you can expect until maybe autumn. And it's a sweater version of kosekofta, which is going to look a lot different than kosekofta in many ways. It's not just going to be a sweater. As you can see, I am putting rib at the bottom instead of the elaborate color work and double folded hem, so it's a lot simpler. And I just did some simple stripes, and now it's just all lice, and that's basically what I've been doing. So I think I've done just this much since yesterday. Did it on a live stream on Instagram, which was really fun. I might do that again tonight, just because we need some fun. Things are not great right now. I laugh because like back in Norway there's a complete shutdown, and like I've got friends and family who like may risk losing their jobs. Like it's wild. So I'm just kind of trying to bring in some light somewhere, you know, just trying to make toilet paper jokes, and you know, you guys know. So yeah, just cranked on with this. This is in Susan Crawford's Excelana DK yarn. And yeah, it's just knitting lice until I've had the preferred length of the body, and then I'll get to start with you know, colorwork motif that you know from kosekofta, and I'll try to do something new and a bit different with it than I did last time. I'm not just going to simply turn the cardigan into a sweater. I am noticing though just how different this feels in this yarn. I thought Excelana DK and Peer Gynt would be sort of kind of equivalent, and they are. You can knit them up in the same sort of patterns for sure. I'm getting the same gauge and everything, but this feels like so much lighter and smaller, and definitely more of a pullover than a big coat again, like I affectionately call my kosekofta, which by the way I use a lot. I wear it every day at work. I just have it hanging over my kind of office chair over there, and it's just kind of a regular, keeps me warm in the mornings, and yeah, absolutely love it. But this is remarkably different. I think Excelana DK borders more on sport, whereas Peer Gynt borders a little bit more on worsted. It makes a world of a difference. I was actually worried that I was knitting with too few stitches at some point, but I know it's gonna be like the same extra size. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I think that as long as the rib blocks out, then it will. Anyway, I shouldn't be talking too much about this because it's just a long way from now. It is what it is. Also, I don't know if you guys know, I feel like I must have talked about this before, but I am really excited. I'm going to be in the upcoming Knit with Attitude 10th anniversary book. So Knit with Attitude is one of my local yarn shops, run by Maya, who's from my hometown, Trondheim. And they have their 10th anniversary, and they're going to release a book with patterns from designers who are affiliated with the shop one way or another. I say affiliated, it's not official. I'm just like a neighbor, a designer. I kind of started out doing classes in the shop, and we just, you know, we're friends of the shop. And so a lot of designers who are friends of the shop are putting their designs into this book. And this week Sini and Jonna of Lane magazine were in London, literally a 5-minute walk from my home, which was wild. I didn't stalk or anything, I promise, but they were in town to photograph the designs, which I'm like, my design is going to be photographed by Lane and be in print, and I'm so excited. I can't believe it, and it's just really cool. So I just thought I'd put that out there. I think it's really, really exciting. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get to meet them today at the Loop meet and greet, my other local yarn shop, but no, nothing's happening. We're under lockdown. We're not actually under lockdown in the UK because the UK hasn't responded in any particular way. We just kind of collectively decided to follow the World Health Organization because the UK government isn't telling us to do anything. Anyway, that's yeah, that's basically what's happening here for anyone who's wondering. But moving on to my last project for this episode, which is actually also an upcoming design because apparently I can't stop. But again, it's not something I think will come out anytime soon, so consider it a long in advance teaser. I shouldn't be doing that because you can't keep hype up for that long, but I was never a businesswoman. I'm just a knitter who really likes to knit and get inspired and show off what I make, and I'm really pleased with how this one is coming together. So this one lives in my Plister bag and it's very, very nice and light. Yes, it is a theme today, I guess. I am using Fenul. I was just thinking, did I talk about any of the other yarns? I think I did. But this is Fenul by Doma, one of my staple yarns, classic. And this is their new heathered red. They've usually only used solids, but lately they've actually started to introduce heathered and dyed on kind of, yeah, heathered marl greys, and they just look really, really alive. So I wanted to try and do a design in that, and I thought about host first and kind of wanted to do something along those lines, but I'm now of course changing everything, and I'm changing probably the construction, and I've already changed up the sizes a bit to make them work out with this particular pattern repeat. And I've done, like, I'm on the second skein already, and basically this is what it looks like. So you can see the steek is in the middle here, so it is a cardigan, and then you can see how there's like this pattern coming along the sides. Oh yeah, oh that blew out, but now you can see it pretty clearly anyway. Yeah, I am excited. I'm so excited. The back is the same, obviously, just without the steek, because why would you steek the back? That's madness. You think this is complicated. It is really not. I had it memorized after the first repeat. It's so simple. I can't believe this is so simple. It looks so complicated. I wasn't even sure about it, but I'm like, oh my days. This is such a breeze to knit on. So that's something I'm really enjoying. I'm still debating how to do the actual construction. I want to try out something new that I haven't seen many people do before, because if that works, I might try it out on some colour work later, and then that would be exciting. But yeah, let's just try it on stockinette first just to see, and then if it doesn't work, it's not going to be super sad to frog. But you know, you got to experiment a little bit, because I mean, I talk about these new and different construction methods a lot, and I hope I'm not like scaring anyone away by doing so, because the reason I'm always seeking new construction method isn't just to be like insufferably nerdy and original or anything like that. It's generally because I think I want you to enjoy the patterns in the making as much as in the wearing. That was a terrible phrase. I have a lot of things I want to design, but then and I look at how something is typically done today, and I just think it's overly complicated. There's too many steps involved, too many ends involved, too much working flat on the wrong side, and kind of things lingering from the old Rowan days, when things can be done in such a more fun, simple, get the difficult stuff out of the way in the beginning kind of way. So I'm just looking into how to make things a bit easier on us and more enjoyable, even if it is something new. I'm very sorry about. So that's, for instance, like, you know, the thing with Utra and Islander, is that they just introduce you to a very new, different method where you get the assembly part of the garment out of the way to begin with, when you still have that mojo, and then you keep going, and it's just super simple from that point onwards, and it just gets simpler and simpler and simpler, which a lot of the time it's the other way around, where a pattern starts out simple and then it gets complicated when you don't even know where you're at anymore. You maybe left the project down for a while and you just kind of went, and it's that's when things become UFOs. That's when things linger, when a project isn't fresh, but you have to actually put your mind into what you already did and what's going to happen next, and where things get a bit complicated. I'm trying to kind of get around that. Either get it out in the beginning, or see if we can eliminate some steps, or work things a bit more in one go so there's less things to keep track on. That's kind of how I work. So that was a I don't know, inspirational speech or something. I hope anyway that's more people maybe feel that way. I think so far I've had a lot of really good feedback on the new Ultra Islander construction method. It seems to jibe with a lot of people. I think there's still a lot more opportunity with that method. I don't think you have to do it the way I did with kind of everything is already attached at the shoulders and you work magic loop. Like, I've seen some people do this and I've tried it myself. It's basically casting on top down the way you do in the pattern, but in the round, and then you can actually seam together the shoulders at the end so that you never have to work magic loop. Like, that's the method of doing it if you just want to avoid that kind of awkward early start, if you don't mind putting off the shoulder seaming at the end. Like, there's a lot of opportunities with this method that I think is interesting to explore. So yay. But this new method of that red cardigan is more of a satin sleeve experiment that's hopefully gonna eliminate some steeks. I love my steeks, but maybe we don't need 4 in one pattern, you know, maybe it's enough with 2. Maybe even 1, who knows. So now that we are at the very end of this episode, and I'm sure some people are wondering, why is she talking to herself? Why is she not joining us with the cleaning? I have a surprise acquisition kind of thing, sort of. I got a parcel in the mail 2 days ago, 1 day ago, and I was a bit surprised because I wasn't expecting anything, and it had my mom's name on it, and I thought, I haven't asked for anything. Am I getting stuff without asking for it? This is new. What is this? And I saw what it was, and I remember, of course, we went to the fabric shop when I was home for Christmas, and you know, asked that she would make me some bags, and apparently she has totally different bags than what you know we talked about, which is kind of what you expect. But I have got new bags and they're all different, and wow, okay, so this one is massive and I love this print. I was actually developing a chart of this print once, so I may continue that one. This is big. Okay. I don't know if this was like meant to be a birthday present or something, because my birthday was in January and now it's March, but yeah, it's fine. Only turned 30, it's fine if it's late. But look how big it is. I think if I was gonna, like, you know, stand over her sewing table, I would probably have the bottom boxed out a bit more, just my taste. But wow, this is a lot of capacity, and you can roll down the edge kind of like that, and it will kind of stand up and you have your project in. And this looks so classy, and it's got that gold zip and it's gold print and just a lot of gold. Gold is happening. So yeah, that's one of the bags. She made a lot of bags, and this print I just fell head over heels in love with when I saw it in the fabric shop. And my mum has made it into a bag with a little bit more of a box bottom this time. She had lost all the measurements that we talked about previously, so I've got just completely different bags this time. So again, slightly less box bottom than I normally request. But I love the size. The size is super versatile. I really like that. And there's like a front string, so you do this and it's got like this sort of thing. She's being creative. Yeah, so that was I just love this print. I saw this print in the shop and I was like, I need it. Mom, can I have it? Please, can I have it? You know, like a proper almost 30-year-old. I never noticed this seam at the back. I have no idea. How did she make this? There's no seams on the side. She just seamed it at the back. Mom, what have you done? But seriously, this is ridiculous. I have so many more project bags now. And then this one, which I feel like is kind of festive. It has the kind of classic drawstrings. also has considerable capacity, not as big as the first one, bigger than the second one. So that's, you know, I feel like I need to save that for a Christmas project and maybe put my Christmas jumper in there. You know, the one I was working on? Yeah, I'm gonna finish it by Christmas. Don't worry, it will totally happen. And then I got this teeny tiny one. It's not teeny tiny. It's just slightly smaller than the second bag, with also a very festive print. I did chuckle a bit when I saw this one because my mum promised to sew me a pig out of this print, this fabric. Yes, a pig. I wanted a stuffed pig in this fabric. And we were like, I'm sure we have enough of this fabric already. So we got the pattern and she was going to make me a pig because I want a pig. But I got a bag. So yeah, it's not a pig. I'm going to have to talk to her about the pig. But this is like amazing accessory size. I could do like mittens in this, you know, put 2 finial skeins and the needles and a pattern. Like, it's really good for that. Socks as well, like small shawls, hats, perfect for hats. It's like a good accessory bag or like a beginning project. So yeah, that was my acquisitions, just 4 bags that my mum has been making for me. And I have to say, honestly, I don't tell her I said this, that would be awkward, but out of most of my projects that I work on the most, I actually use my mum's bags the most. I don't actually have them here now, like the little light grey one, I keep using it all the time, or the one with the dragons, and the one with this one. This is the one I have the calibrate sweater in, with all like these forest animals and stuff. So yeah, they are being used, but still make me think I need to de-stash some of my other bags, because I have a lot of bags and I'm not even going to give you an estimate of how many, not only because I would be wrong, but because the number would regardless be incredibly high, and maybe they could go off to other homes. The bags that I don't use, I do use my mom's bags, they will stay with me. So yeah, that's it for acquisitions. What do we have for life stuff? There's a lot of stuff with life, but there's not a lot of stuff that goes on to here, I don't think. Maybe one day we're gonna have a chat about what happened to Skeindeer in 2020 and I'll be like, have a story time. I think, but right now I am just incredibly overwhelmed, good and bad, all the things. It's just, I've had a lot of feelings lately. I've had a lot of just like roller coaster with personal life, health, PhD, and I had this like weird experience like just over a week ago where I had for the first time in a long time this feeling that I'm gonna complete, like I'm definitely going to finish and be Dr. Skeindeer. For the first time maybe ever, I just felt I got this and people got my back. People at university, like different units, kind of talking now and supporting me, and I'm just like, I am gonna do this. People actually believe in me. I've had a lot of conversations. It's just been a whole, yeah, shoulders down. So things are still massively stressful, which you're not obviously coming here to hear about the stress, but I have like happy news that things are going upwards and ahead. Even though it's taking longer, that is generally a good sign. So I am quite pleased with how things are going. Now, I obviously don't know what's going to happen with the whole pandemic, isolation, lockdown situation. Like I said, as of right now, in the UK, we're mostly just been left to our own decisions. People still go to work. I've been to university over the past week and nothing seems to have changed, but I'm also starting to think that maybe we should just chill at home for a bit. And I have to laugh, like some people who are just like, I just find it so difficult to just sit at home all the time and do the same stuff and eat the same stuff and just be on my own and just isolate, and it's so hard. And I'm just like, finally something that I am good at. It's like the age of the introvert is upon us. This is something I'm like, you know, staying at home for days on days and eating the same stuff every day and just knitting and not seeing people. I love people, but I can also do with alone time, you know. It's great. I don't mind. And if I can do that and keep people healthy as a result of it by not getting ill and passing it on, win-win. This is something I am good at, and I will finally. So silver lining, basically. But yeah, stay healthy, everyone. I hope you're doing okay. I hope, you know, just wishing everyone the best. I'm cracking jokes just to make things a little bit lighter for us all. But yeah, just make sure you do nice things for yourself. You know, cast on that thing you always wanted to cast on. Light some candles, cook something nice, have a rest, pet a dog or a cat or something. Play video games, watch Netflix, read a book, clean. I'm gonna clean today. I don't want to, but I have to. So that's, yeah, nothing new happening here with regards to that. It's just kind of, yeah, feeling very smug about my toilet paper stash though. I've had it for years because I'm crazy, and I'm like finally. I'm joking, but I'm not. It's just an accident. Like, you know, every time you place a grocery store order and I'm just like, I probably need toilet paper, right? I probably need it. And it's just accumulated over the years. So at least I haven't been, you know, clearing the shelves in the shops, because I don't know that that's the way to go. But also I don't have to. Okay, that's more about me than you needed to know. I'm gonna go back to my knitting and then start cleaning a little bit. So I hope you all take care, stay well, you know, all that stuff, and might see some of you guys on Instagram live stream or something like that, or next time that I put up an episode. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.